ropes it off. A flying tackle by Anna Dropkick.
10 pounds of pure love.
Gotta hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm the rich.
Gotta be the best of them. It's more to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold. The championship has existed in its current proper form since 19...
That was pretty hard, and look at what he's gonna work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me for another episode of TEW 2020, Billy Corgan's NWA. We just got done a fairly decent pay-per-view. It scored a little bit worse than honestly I wanted, but it's a 58. It's not horrible. We definitely had some weaker areas. Our main event actually wasn't as good as I expected it to be, but huge upset, new champion, Ace Austin, after interference from Eddie Kingston, and Samoa Joe snubbed again, but the feedback was excellent. The show went down really well. I think it did. We do have some warnings here. Our final months of our broadcasting is in play. Now, I believe, I'm not 100% certain, but I am fairly certain that we are going to run into an issue with that. And that is, we had that problem. We had that problem with one of our TV shows, and I think we're still in the shock phase of that, where I don't think people are going to want to extend any deals with us. Is longer than they're willing to allow. So that's a little different. It's been less than a year since the collapse of the deal with TLN. I don't remember when that happened. We could probably look it up. I want to say it might have been in July of the save. Now, that may run us into problems. Probably not. With Mav, it won't, and that's the only one we really care about, but we're going to lose some of these international broadcasters. Not a huge deal, because we're really not in any position to expand internationally yet. We're barely in a position to expand statewide. Right now, we are at 48 in our area. We are very slowly moving up. We've talked about this before, that this is the area where it's a very slow process. You're capped, I believe, in this game to, I think, one, like a maximum. We could change that, actually, but the game gets a little weird. But I think you're capped at, like, one popularity a month growth. There is a way to change that where you uncap it. It might actually be like a cap of 2 or something like that. But right now we're just slowly growing, so it's going to take a long time to get bigger, unless we do something really drastic or something, and get like a major signing. But even then, I think we're still limited in our growth. Finances aren't looking horrible. We're still moving up the ladder here, in a very good way. In terms of revenue, we're looking positive. I think we'll have to wait until the next day to see whether that actually shakes out. But it looks like we're starting to make some money, and that might mean. And actually, I'm pretty comfortable doing so. Well, we'll do it after we sim the next day. I think we're going to get rid of this last production penalty. It's going to be costly, but honestly, I'm fine with 0 growth if we're just paying our bills. Ideally, I would like to have over $1 million in the bank, but 751,000 is not horrendous. And I'm fine if we're making just like $8,000 or something like that and slowly growing. So let's take a look at that. We finished second out of 3 in Southeast, and finished second because there's no bonuses or penalties. What the hell beat us out of 3? I don't know. Okay, Darren Young. We haven't brought Darren Young back into the field yet, actually, at all. We're going to put him in a tag team. Eli Drake is now returning to the company. Perfect. And our viewing numbers look decent. So no bonus. That's fine. I wonder what won. What's our... Can we get to a regional? No, not in this one. Though, in the US, it looks like we are number 6, which is not bad for a small, actually. It's not too horrendous at all. Impact's beating us, and they're also a small ranked, but that is not horrendous. I will take it. Apparently, we've done negotiations, extended contract. Says they are confident it will be done very soon. Could we get a shot at Jay White? Well, that's interesting. Ain't that interesting? Could you imagine if we could steal him? Exclusive written, ironclad. What's his rival bid? What he's being charged here? $72,000 a month exclusive written contract is a lot of money. I don't think we can pull that off at all. I'm trying to think of what we could give him. Like everything. I don't think he would take it. Okay, then that don't matter. He's completely loyal, so we're not going to steal him. Unfortunately, he's exclusive written, so we won't be able to just pull him onto a pay-per-view or anything like that either, which is a bummer. Kairi Sane also potentially leaving. Looking at a sizable contract. Again, another situation that I do not perceive us, because we don't want to do per show. That's or $900 a month. So, like, if we go over it just to try to get it, I'd be curious to see what she says. So if we're talking about trying to improve our women's division, that certainly would help. I don't know what we would have to do to get her, but I don't foresee us being able to, I could give her a 50% cut of merchandise that we don't have yet. Yeah. Wish it told us where she's at. Like, would it be 4,000 per show? No. So at that point, like, it doesn't matter really. We're just not going to be able to compete with that cost, and that is unfortunate. A lot of people looking like they are leaving places here, which seems interesting. MVP getting a deal, contract offer. Minoru Suzuki left New Japan. Just curious. But you would just show up, huh? You just come in. I'm gonna leave this one on the wayside for a second. You guys tell me. He's not been offered a contract extension, and Cesars say the company has no further use for him, and current deal is to complete when the deal is done. Let me know if you want Minoru Suzuki in New Japan or in NWA. That would be interesting. Even to pull him in for just some random times, it would be very interesting. Definitely some weird stuff happening. in terms of hiring. Not a lot that I see that would be really beneficial, but interesting, certainly, to say the least. All right, so financials. Where are we at end of the month? End of the month, we ended at 53,000. That's really great. I think we could easily increase our music production quality. Currently, we are at 10,000 a month, so it's extra 15,000. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll take a dip in our profit margin, but it won't be anything that's too problematic for us. It's just we'll be back down to like 25,000. Or actually, we won't even. We'll be like 40,000. Not a big deal at all for us, so I'm pretty okay and comfortable with that. Not going to do any hirings or anything like that. I think that's it for terms of our backstage elements. We do have a lot of morale issues. Well, not a lot. We have some morale issues, but I think we're relatively okay there. So just something to kind of keep a lookout in the works. Let's go ahead and let's get to our next show. All right, we do got some mail here. We're Swan relocating. Okay. So not much for us to worry about here. We got a show tonight. Let's get on with the booking. Okay. We're in Center Loft. I think we could probably do better than that. I think we should be probably in our arena, because that is what we paid for. I know it's shocking, but it seems like a good idea. We're expecting 775 fans. Not too bad. Still about the same level, but, we'll get there eventually. We're capable of, I think, stacking 1,000 people in there. 100,000 would be ridiculous. It would be a ridiculous waste of money for us to have that. So we have some time to worry about another expansion or moving outwards. I have a suspicion that by the time we are going to reach that area, we will be moving around the country anyways. We have a backstage incident with Gavin Loudspeaker and David Finley. Brought 4 wrestlers to court accused of being an hour late work or being an hour late to pick up his assigned travel partner. And of course, he has to prepare meals for the next 3 days for him. Okay, we can do some meddling. I'm actually going to do an open forum and just let people who are pissed off kind of air their grievances a little bit. Cool. Now, we had a big pay-per-view last time, and we also have some loose ends that we have to play into. Because one of the things we couldn't get on the pay-per-view for time was really kind of continuing this Nick Aldis, Alistair, or whatever we're actually going to call him. Obviously, he's Malachi Black now in AEW. I think we're going to give him a different name when we finally have him kind of really give his name out. But we had a double pinfall with Nick Aldis because Alistair knows every move. And Alistair seems to be playing with Nick Aldis and trying to get into his head. So that's kind of interesting. So we got some interesting elements there to play around with. Now, let us get on with the show and book ourselves a 2-hour power and see where it falls down. All right, guys, we are ready for another episode of Power. I had to cut some matches real short, and I'm a little nervous that we might be running into a situation where we're going to get penalized again because of that new product setting. I don't know, because I really don't know what's considered an important match or not, because that's where the penalty is. So we'll see. We're still playing around with that. I expect that our scores are going to be a little bit lower because of that. But we're still trying to figure out that process and sort of that balance. So let's go ahead and let's get on the show. I don't remember if we ever actually made it No, we did extend it, so it's just 2.5 hour show now, I believe. So, we got to figure out how to work around things, and that's just what it's going to be. We start the show with a pretty good segment. Ace Austin comes out with his 2 belts. He's got the Next Gen title on his left, the NWA World's Champion, 10 pounds of gold on his right, 1 around each shoulder, and of course his cronies, the Smoking Aces, are coming out with him. He gets to the ring, gets a microphone, and says, "Welcome to the Ace Austin celebration, baby." With that, as he shouts that into the ring, balloons and confetti drop from the sky, music plays, he is gloating over his win, and he goes on the microphone and says, "I am the 2-title ace of the NWA, and I'm not going anywhere. This is not..." He gets interrupted immediately in his celebration. Pillman comes out. They square off for a second before Pillman rips the mic from his hand, and Austin slinks to the side to rejoin the Smoking Aces, clearly trying to kind of keep that numbers game up in case Pillman tries to do something. Pillman dismisses him and says, "Get out of here, you freaking twig." "Kingston!" he screams into the microphone. "Get out here." Pillman is looking haggard. His hair is more disheveled. His eyes are baggy. This is clearly him at his wit's end. Eddie Kingston does come out, standing at the apron, looking him down. "You had no right," Pillman says. "No right to do what you did last Sunday. Some bitter old man who can't compete anymore and doesn't know when to hang up his boots. You are not a kingmaker. And I'm not going to get..." Before he can even continue, Kingston's already charging him in a 2 brawl. The animosity between the two of them is just well above boiling point at this point. The two are fighting in the ring. Ace Austin sees this as an opportunity, and he sends the Smoking Aces into the Rumble, as well as himself. It's a big, just mess, and it ends up involving all of security, the refs, and the backstage, pulling everybody apart as the 3 of them continue to fight. There's clearly a lot of viciousness, especially between Pillman and Kingston, and obviously Austin wanting to prove something about himself. That Kingston face turn is not getting any good reaction. The segment, though, does a very good. Pillman does very good. Jeff Jarrett apparently was ringside. I don't know why. I think he's set as a manager, but we'll deal with it. Got the crowd hotter, got him off to a strong start. It's actually really bad for us because the next match is a work the crowd match, so that's going to get penalized. But we set up that beginning of that animosity, and we start the storyline called A Bitter End, Kingston versus Pillman. This match is bad. Holy hell. Our women's division sucks, and it shows. It's mostly the problem was it's too short for an important match is the problem. It's 11 minutes. Like, what do you want from me for this match? We got to figure out what the limit is and work around that way. It might involve less matches on a show and more promos. I don't know. It was too short for an important match, and it was poorly paced. The crowd was already hot, didn't need working. In this match, Deonna Purrazzo and Riho defeat Heidi Lovelace, our new champion, and Sonia Baranato in 11 minutes and 43 seconds. Deonna Purrazzo pinned Heidi Lovelace, our champion, with a fast, distracted roll-up. The most dangerous move in professional wrestling. So we start the storyline of the Rebel versus the Virtuosa. I can't pronounce anything today. So this match is, like, other than this segment, like, their in-ring performance isn't bad. Deonna Purrazzo's 37's concerning. Riho did fantastic at a 53. Sonya had a 42, and Heidi Lovelace had a 49. I think this storyline is going to be short-lived because I did not realize how underperforming Deonna Purrazzo was with that 37. Another one of the situations that we might want to up her in the databases, I don't think that's accurate. Like, if I were to give her a physical in-ring performance, I would think she should be at like 44. But it seems low to me, 37. But maybe I'm biased or something like that. Segments of 34 could have been better. Oh, man. What a bomb. What hurt us here? I need to know. I mean, segment rating was limited for primarily being based on sex appeal, because that was Deonna Purraz's highest quality, so we kind of just had her standing there. Holy crap. Heidi in this segment is in shock of the loss. Deonna gloats and points to the belt. Man, okay. This is going to be difficult. We might have to call an audible here and change this up. This probably would have been better if I didn't do sex appeal. I think we get penalized for our product for that. So I think I had Heidi Lovelace set at maybe entertainment, and maybe I should have done Deonna Purrazza the same, but she was actually very weak on that front. Oh boy. Okay. Well, save us, Eli Drake. And he does with a 57. And a masterful job of interacting with the crowd, because Eli Drake is back in the NWA. He's looking fresh and better than ever, super jacked, probably on tons of steroids. He has vigor in his eyes. He's happy because he just had a vacation and a ton of money thrown his way. He's interviewed by Tom Phillips at the interview podium. And Phillips goes, "Welcome back, Eli Drake. You're looking like a man on a mission." And Drake kind of goes into it, goes, "Oh, you're damn right. You know, I did a little soul searching on my time off, and I realized what I needed more than anything is that beautiful 10 pounds of gold. It means so much to this industry. You know, I remember watching it as a kid, and now it's in my grasps. It's more important than anything else, and it's something that really has eluded me in the past. But that's always been my fault. You know, I lacked the focus, the determination. But no more. I've always been the best pro wrestler in this company, but now I need the title to prove it. So Ace Austin, you better start training those weak little arms, man, because I'm coming for you." So, got the crowd hotter after the stinkers that we just had. Eli Drake calling his shot, coming back out saying he's coming for the belt. He's coming for Ace Austin. To the top of the pack he goes, I suppose. We get a 57 with that, not too bad. We have the debut of Ron Killings, who defeats Zicky Dice of the Smoking Aces in 7 minutes with a pinfall. Again, this match was too short for audience, so we're running into this issue of, I would have thought that this would have been fine as a squash match because Ron Killings is only recognizable and Zicky Dice is unimportant, but apparently not. Zicky Dice's gimmick is getting stale, so we have to be aware of that. Ron Killings got a very good split personality gimmick. Both have a 44, about an equal in-ring performance. That's a 36 because of that penalty, which is unfortunate. Afterwards, Ron Killing gives us a little bit of a boost with his entertainment skills as he grabs a mic, has his full debut, and kind of just goes on a quick, like, "I'm back at NWA, baby. I'm here, a former champion," you know, that kind of thing. He's got a hot catchphrase that he uses during this. He does very well improvising on the mic. Afterwards, Jeff Jarrett comes out to announce the main event tonight, and he wants it to be a tag team match with Pillman and Eli Drake versus Kingston and Ace Austin. The animosity between all of these people in different degrees makes it interesting kind of thing. So we announce it. It's a 49. We advance 2 storylines as these 2 groups of people kind of start to go at it in the main event. Again, match too short. We get penalized. This is going to be very difficult for us. We almost maybe want to look at changing our product because it's very difficult to book. Now, granted, this was a 4-minute squash match, but this is very limiting. We have to really kind of play around with what we have here. It's an extremely short match. Miro comes out and defeats Danhausen in 4 minutes by submission. Miro had a 58. Danhausen had a 40. Miro Destroyhausen storyline starts with the segment. And we had to fix Miro and Lana. Lana is now ringside valet for him. And we have to fix the face-heel dynamic on there that's hurting us. But again, this penalty is hurting us severely. Afterwards, Miro in the ring savages Danhausen after the win and beats him up. Warhorse comes out and squares off with Miro for a bit and ends up getting one good hit before the two brawl, and Warhorse has to kind of slink away and drag Danhausen to safety. So we're kind of building up maybe a bit of a feud between Warhorse and Miro here. And we got a potential future face turn was hinted at during the Danhausen segment as the sympathy of him getting beat up is built. The segment itself doesn't do great, though. Match too short. It's 10 minutes, man. I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. It's great wrestling, good heat. We have who we're calling currently Alistair defeats Matt Cross in 10 minutes by submission. Another member of the Satori Initiative, now not felled, because technically Nick Aldis wasn't felled, but Matt Cross definitely was. Alistair had a 74. Matt Cross had a meager 47. We continued the storyline. They actually had good chemistry, which is nice, and it gave us a 53. Segment could have been better if the match wasn't so short. This segment is okay. Kind of builds us up a little bit here. Matt Cross lays unconscious in the ring. Alistair, or the man named Alistair here, sits beside him, and as he does, the lights dim, and on screen we see Aldis and Bowden watching on a video. Of course, that iconic watching sideways at a TV, which doesn't seem very comfortable way to do so. And Alistair speaks. He speaks to Aldis. He goes, "Nick Aldis, are you familiar with the animal in Britain known as the cuckoo bird? Coo, 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 coo. It's a symbol of time, insanity, now. But it has a more nefarious history. You see, the cuckoo bird is an animal. It's a beautiful little bird, like a sparrow. But beneath that pretty plumage is a darkness inside. Because it's not a regular bird. It's actually a parasitic creature. You see, the bird called the cuckoo tricks other birds into raising its young. It crawls into their nests when they're away and lays its own eggs and tosses the other eggs down to the ground to destroy them. If the bird doesn't notice, it raises a different bird's young. And when they hatch, the cuckoo and its young steal the nest for itself. You see, Bowden isn't a leader or a visionary or a psychic or a healer. He's a parasite, like the cuckoo. I am not his student, nor have I ever been. I was his master. I taught him everything he needed to know, but you see, he truly didn't understand my philosophy. He wasn't willing to commit. He wasn't willing to embrace what I know. So he betrayed me, took the secrets we learned together, and made this bastardization, this corporate amalgamation of teachings and nonsense. See, I've had many names over the past, but my name is Ezekiel Crowley. I've divined all of this. I've taken my time and I've seen beyond the veil and the creatures that lie in its depths. And I will commit to you that I will raze this farce to the ground. It's up to you, Aldous, if you want to join me or be kindling in the blaze. And with that, Alistair, now known as Crowley, disappears. The story initiative storyline advances with this segment. Alistair came off very well. Bowden came off underwhelming. But segment overall gets a 50, and we now know who Ezekiel Crowley really is, what his relationship to the Satori Initiative is. We don't quite know what these teachings are, but we know that a lot of what Bowden has taught seems to be a twisting of Crowley's inner truth. And now Nick Aldis has a choice, I suppose, as we get these revelations. Speaking of revelations, we have Samoa Joe, who barges into Jeff Jarrett's office, where Eli Drake is having a friendly but private conversation between Jeff Jarrett and himself. Both look startled, and even more so as Joe walks up to them, takes a chair, and throws it into the side of the wall. Jarrett! Samoa Joe screams. This is bullshit. His nostrils flare as he screams him down. Eli Drake stands to the side, visibly upset at this intrusion. Joe's clearly upset about the main event. He goes, whoa, calm yourself before we have a problem on our hands. I know you want to get your hands on Ace Austin, but now's not the time. Eli Drake just came back. It's his opportunity in the spotlight. Jarrett tries to placate the angry Samoan. No, I am sick of being told to get back in line again. Ever since I've been here, I've been screwed multiple times and not given a fair shot once. I want Austin. I want him alone. I want my rematch. Drake tries to interject, well, hey, man, and then he gets pushed hard into the chest and into the wall. His eyes fire up, but Jarrett makes sort of this hand motion to him without breaking eye contact from Samoa Joe, this sort of wait, stop gesture. Joe, I make the rematches. Get out of my office, calm yourself, and we will talk later. Joe kind of cools down for a second and knows that he's not going to win this and walks away. Interesting relation between Drake and Jarrett here. The fact that Drake getting a hot shot to a main event, it's just an exhibition match. It's not like a title match, but definitely getting jumped ahead and seemingly having conversations with Jarrett in the process. So we have a advancement of the Ace Austin versus the World storyline as everyone starts to hen hunt for him. Samoa Joe looked great. Jarrett struggled to go off script where the rest of them were. Gets us a 58. Again, shockingly, the match was too short for an important match. It's not going to win. The Revenant are fighting Brent and Brendan Tate, the Tate brothers, who have been our local talent for a while. We keep on hiring from one-night shows. I should just hire them just to get jobbed out. It's just easier this way. The Revenant defeat them in 8 minutes. Razor pinned Brent and with the last chapter. Akam had a 58, Razor had a 53, Brendan had a 37, Brent had a 39. We advance the Dark Reign storyline of the Revenant. And yeah, a whole bunch of a mix of bonuses and things like that. Got the crowd buzzing, gets us a 41. Now, we got Chris Hero in a match that finally we still get a huge penalty from this. We finally get one that doesn't matter, which is sad to say for Chris Hero. Unfortunately, this segment is a bomb because it is a job between Dick Mayer for Chris Hero here. Chris Hero defeats Dick Mayer in 3 minutes by submission after a very successful scramble match in the pre-show. Now a quick win on our first power that he's on. He has a 50. Dick Mayer has a 26. Unfortunately, I think it was a wild brawl that they could have used a little bit of a breathe down here, and it kind of burned him out. So we end up getting a 30 for this, which is not great. Also not great is apparently Chris Hero's microphone work. He says that he's the king of pro wrestling after the match and is willing to take on all challengers. We start the King of Pro Wrestling storyline, and not in a very successful way. At least this is a little bit better. Mickie James cuts a promo at the interview table about what happened last Sunday, about how disrespectful Madison Eagles is, the legacy of that title, and how upset she is about it. And before she can really go further, Madison Eagles comes out and attacks Mickie James and leaves her on the ground. So we start the total disrespect storyline. We gain some heat with it. Get a 41. It's not too bad. Main event does fairly well. We get a 60. Ace Austin and Eddie Kingston versus Brian Pillman Jr. and Eli Drake. Some tensions around here. Eli Drake trying to call his shot on Ace Austin. Eddie Kingston and Pillman obviously having bad blood. And in this match, Ace Austin and Eddie Kingston defeat Pillman Jr. and Eli Drake in 22 minutes. Ace Austin pinned Eli Drake with an Aces High, following interference from Samoa Joe, who was pissed off, obviously, and came in to cause interference for a quick roll-up. Austin makes defense number 6 of the Global Force Next Gen title, technically, because anytime he's in any match, it's always on the line. So Eddie Kingston had an in-ring performance of 60. Austin had a 65. Eli Drake had a 52. Pillman had a 58. We advanced 2 different storylines, a bitter end and parlor tricks. Fairly good main event at a 60. I'm really worried about what this show's rating is. 58. That could have been worse, actually. We kind of saved it at the end. I'm really struggling with this product. We might have to look at something else because it is a little too difficult to book. I think it's really hurting us creatively. So we might end up going back to the old style, honestly, or look for something different because this is very difficult. Overall, though, 58 is not the end of the world. What do we got going on? David Starr being a scumbag somewhere else. Adam Cole kicked out of Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era ends. Cedric Alexander might be up for a extension for WWE. Some interesting things happening in the world here. Our power report was excellent. So despite all of those problems, we still managed to pull off a good show. Yeah, 0.05 is not bad, actually. And we rewarded 1 extra user talent point for completing 50 successful shows. So we can put that in to ourselves at some point here. Trying to remember where that is. It's not developmental. Where is user talent? Or do I think I have to go into Billy Corgan. I think that's what it is. I'm trying to remember, but I think maybe not skills. I'll find it off camera. It's not a big deal. So Kimberly's leaving tomorrow. We're already wrote her off. Yeah, not bad. Certainly not. There it is. Here, we'll do it here. Oh man, what should boost? Our diplomacy doesn't look great. Our negotiation isn't great either. If we put 1 into creativity, we actually are going to go into the green, and that would actually give us a little bit of a bonus on gimmicks. I think I'm actually going to do that. That will be beneficial for us. So we got an extra point there. That's not too bad. I think we got to look at a different product. I might give it one more go and give it a shot, but I think Modern Throwback is not working for us, unfortunately. I think it's just a little too difficult to book, and I think it's actually hurting us. And in a way, not necessarily hurting us gameplay-wise, that's not a problem, but I think hurting us booking-wise, creatively, might be a bit of a problem, because the way we had to book this is ridiculous. So it's going to be a bit of an issue, but we still managed to get a pretty good show. So thank you guys for watching. If you're not subscribed, I am really close to 2,000 subscribers, like 500 away. So if you're watching this and you watch this whole damn thing, thank you. But if you're not subscribed, please think about doing it, because I would really like to get to 2,000 at some point. That would be an amazing goal for a Total Extreme Wrestling exclusive channel, basically. That would be really amazing. So thank you guys for continuing to watch and support, and I'll see you next time.